According to the basic laws of aviation, bees shouldn't be able to fly due to their small wings and plump bodies. However, bees defy this notion and fly anyway because they aren't bothered by what humans think. They won't back down if humans interfere with them. Enter Barry B. Benson, a young bee leading a happy life in a natural hive. Today marks his graduation day, and he's excited about the ceremony. After dressing up, he bids farewell to his parents and meets his best friend, Adam Flaman, to head to the graduation ceremony. During their journey, they reminisce about their time in school, which is relatively short for bees but feels like years to them. Following the brief ceremony, the graduates are taken on a tour of Honex Industries, where they'll spend the rest of their lives working. The industry has different parts, and each bee is assigned specific tasks related to honey production and defense against humans during nectar collection. The fresh graduates are eager to pick their preferred job posts, except for Barry. He's not ready to commit to a single task for his entire life. When he tries to explain this to Adam, he realizes that other bees aren't open to thinking differently. Suddenly, pollen jocks enter the scene. They are the bee army responsible for collecting nectar. Barry is greatly impressed by them, especially since they get to explore the outside world. One of the pollen jocks promises to take Barry on a flight soon. That night, Barry can't stop pondering his future career and shares his concerns with his father. However, like many parents, his father wants Barry to follow in his footsteps and become a honey stealer. Despite his attempts to explain his feelings, Barry faces resistance to changing the traditional path. The next morning, they return to Honex and line up to see the job placement board. The positions are limited, and each bee has only one place to work. However, Adam gets his desired post since a working bee had recently passed away. Feeling trapped by the system and unwilling to become an average worker, Barry steps out of the line and sneaks away to meet the pollen jocks. They invite him to join them on their flight, as long as he adheres to the ultimate bee law: no talking to humans. As they fly out of the hive, Barry witnesses the sky for the first time and enjoys the thrilling adventure. They fly through kite-filled skies, under bridges, and across flower fields. The pollen jocks collect nectar and perform pollination while Barry observes with excitement. However, they encounter a dangerous situation with tennis balls, and Barry gets stuck on one during a girls' game. Barry's life is in jeopardy, but he manages to escape and ends up inside a car's engine, leading to more peril. The passengers panic, and Barry is attacked and sprayed with insecticide. In desperation, he flees through a window into an apartment belonging to the tennis players he encountered earlier. Now seeking a safer place, Barry realizes the window is closed, leaving him trapped inside. Barry mistakes the ceiling lamp for the sun and falls into a bowl of nacho chips, causing panic among the guests who try to swat him. Luckily, a kind-hearted girl named Vanessa saves him, valuing the life of every creature. Barry wants to express his gratitude, so he returns to the house, surprises Vanessa by speaking to her, and they sit down to get to know each other. They find common ground as both of them are struggling with their career choices. Vanessa dreams of becoming a florist despite her parents' objections. The night falls, and Barry has to return to the hive, but he can't stop thinking about Vanessa. He confides in his best friend, Adam, about the outside world and meeting Vanessa. Adam warns him about the challenges of their relationship since she is a human, but Barry is already head over heels for her. He's unable to let go of his feelings for Vanessa and dreams of romantic possibilities. The next day, Barry takes another risk to meet Vanessa again. She takes him to a flower shop where she wants to work, and later, they visit a grocery store where Barry is horrified to see honey bottles on the shelves. Determined to find out more about the honey industry, Barry sneaks into a honey company and discovers a shocking truth. Humans have been stealing honey from bees, and their hives are fake. Barry documents everything with photos and decides to sue the humans for their actions. The story spreads across Bee News, and Vanessa is willing to help Barry with the legal case. The court trial begins with Barry representing the bee company, and Leighton T. Montgomery represents the human companies. Leighton claims that he holds the rights to use nature for their benefit and tries to discredit Barry, suggesting he might be a hologram or robot. Barry calls several witnesses to support his case, including a company owner exploiting bees, a musician using bee terminology without permission, and an actor whose face is used on honey bottles without his involvement. Barry's statements make a strong impact on the first day of the trial, and Vanessa decides to celebrate with a dinner. However, their celebration is interrupted by Ken, who is Vanessa's boyfriend. Ken isn't fond of bees, and his encounter with Barry escalates into a heated exchange. Barry excuses himself to use the restroom, but Ken follows him there. With malicious intent, Ken attempts to harm Barry by hitting him with a magazine and even trying to burn him with insect spray. Barry trips and falls into the toilet, but he quickly finds a nail filer nearby and uses it to navigate the water, evading Ken's attacks. Just then, Vanessa arrives and interrupts the altercation between Barry and Ken. They argue and decide to break up, with Vanessa expressing her desire for a peaceful life free from toxic people like Ken. The next morning, the trial resumes, and Lane, the cunning lawyer, is well prepared with extensive knowledge about bees. Adam, unable to tolerate the humiliation, gets triggered and stings Lane, causing him to feel weak and requiring medical attention. While trying to figure out their next move, Barry and Adam notice a few humans smoking outside the window. This reminds Barry of the smokers used on bees, prompting him to gather evidence and request Adam to buy some time in court. Leighton sees this as an opportunity to manipulate the judge into ruling in his favor. However, Barry manages to return to the courtroom in time, presenting his smoker as evidence. Inadvertently, the smoker is activated, releasing smoke that causes suffering to the bees in the courtroom, catching Leighton red-handed. The media and the jury side with the bees, claiming justice for the harm caused to them. Lane warns the bees of the potential consequences this verdict may have on the food chain. Barry, who doesn't take Lane seriously, continues with his mission. Barry proceeds to shut down all the honey farms and releases the bees, also removing honey-containing beauty products from the shelves, banning their use as sweeteners for humans. All the honey is collected in a massive tank and supplied to the hives. The bees end up with so much honey that they no longer need to produce more, leading to the first shutdown of honey production in history. With no honey production to attend to, all the bees leave their work and return home to rest. However, without pollination from the pollen jocks, flowers start to vanish, affecting Vanessa's floral business as well. Barry, still unaware of the consequences of his actions, goes to talk to Vanessa, who takes him to the balcony where dying plants signify the wider environmental impact. Realizing the gravity of their mistakes, Barry and Vanessa understand that not only flowers but entire fields and forests have withered, affecting the growth of fruits as well. They both accept responsibility for not thoroughly thinking through their decisions before acting. Vanessa expresses her desire to witness the flower parade tournament being held abroad. Inspired by this, Barry comes up with a brilliant idea to correct their mistakes. He plans to steal a bunch of bloom flowers from the parade and bring them back to his city, where the bees can spread the pollen to restore the plantation. Vanessa and Barry manage to sneak into the flower parade and commandeer a suitable flower float. They drive it away and quickly board a plane to return home while keeping the flowers fresh. Unfortunately, the flight encounters unfavorable weather, causing the plane to slow down. Barry tries to communicate with the pilots about the situation, but their panic leads to an accidental activation of the emergency button, rendering both pilots unconscious. With no one to control the plane, Vanessa connects to the control room and learns that they need someone with flying experience. Barry steps up, likening a plane to a giant metal bee, and offers to take control. As the plane heads towards a thunderstorm, news of the extraordinary situation spreads through human and bee news channels, and everyone anxiously awaits the landing. The control room doubts the bees' ability to fly due to their unproportional bodies, but Barry delivers a passionate speech, emphasizing the importance of bees in society and how their collective efforts create a significant impact. Inspired by his words, bees from all around rush to help. With the plane's autopilot system malfunctioning, the pollen jocks come to the rescue, holding the plane steady. Barry, with guidance from Vanessa, successfully lands the plane, with a flower sign made by bees at the airport to welcome them. The media covers this historic moment of a plane landing safely, resembling an insect. However, the situation is far from over, as the flowers Barry brought are now the last hope to restore the ecosystem. The bees take up their responsibilities, and Barry, now a pollen jock, diligently collects pollen, and together they sprinkle it on every plant, causing a revival of blooming and honey production. In the days that follow, Barry joins forces with Vanessa, selling flowers and honey together. He also takes up the role of a legal advisor for animals in need. Despite the challenges they faced, Barry has learned from his mistakes and now takes responsibility for his actions, living a life dedicated to helping and protecting the world, just like a true bee. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more interesting movies.